Somalal sir and my dear friends, first of all I say great morning to all of you.
Great morning.
My name is Riya. I study in 10th C class and today I am here to speak about metals and non-metals. So let's start. Firstly, we will discuss about physical property of metals and non-metals. First property is metallic luster. The metals in their pure state have shiny surface and this property of metals is known as their metallic luster. While non-metals are non-lustrous and iodine is the exception. Iodine is the only known metal which have lustrous surface. Second one is malleability. When metal ability of metal to be drawn into thin sheets is known as malleability. Gold and silver are the most malleable metals, while non-metals are non-malleable. Now, third one is ductility. The ability of metal to be drawn into thin wires is known as ductility. And silver is the most ductile metal. While non-metals are not ductile, they cannot be drawn into wires. You will be surprised to know that gold is the most ductile metal and 2 kilometers of chain can be drawn from 1 gram of gold. Fourth one is melting point and boiling point. Metals have high melting and boiling point, while non-metals have low melting and boiling point. And fifth one is conduction of electricity and heat. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity both. That's why metals like copper and aluminium are used in wires and utensils used for cooking food are made up of metal. Now non-metal. Non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity. Graphite is the only non-metal which conduct both heat and electricity. Now chemical properties of metal. If we talk about chemical properties, firstly we will know about why when we burn metal in air, what happens. Let's take an example of magnesium. When we burn magnesium in air, it gives white dazzling flames. Almost all the metals combine in same way with oxygen. For example, copper. When copper reacts with oxygen, it forms copper oxide. And when aluminium reacts with oxygen, it forms aluminium oxide. Now, know about some other metals like sodium and potassium. When sodium and potassium come in contact with air or oxygen present in water, then they catches fire immediately. This happens because they are highly reactive and react very vigorously. Third one is magnesium. When magnesium reacts with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. Some metals like gold and silver do not react with oxygen at very high temperatures. Now, what happens when metal react with water? When metal react with water, they form metal hydroxide plus H2 gas. For example, sodium and potassium. When sodium and potassium react with water, they form H2 gas plus sodium hydroxide plus large amount of heat. It is a highly exothermic reaction in which very large amount of heat is produced and it catches fire very fastly. Second example is calcium. When calcium reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide plus H2 gas. But this H2 gas is not sufficient to catch fire. So it is not as compared to sodium and potassium, it is not such vigorous. Third one is magnesium. When magnesium reacts with water, it forms magnesium hydroxide plus H2 gas. These are H2 gases bubbles. Fourth one is metals like Fe, aluminium, zinc. These do not react with cold or hot water both. They react with steam and form metal hydroxide plus H2 gas. Now what happens when metals react with other metal salts? Let's take an example. When we react CuSO4 with iron, it forms FeSO4 plus Cu. Why this happen? Fe is more reactive than Cu. That's why it displaces CO from its compound and form FeSO4. Now what happens when two metal and non-metal react with each other? They form ionic compounds. By the exchange of their ions, they form ionic compounds. Let's discuss about physical property of ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are hard in nature and brittle. They are not easy to break even. They have high melting and boiling point. They take time to melt and boil. They are easy to solve. They are easy to dissolve in water and other solvents. But in the other solvents like kerosene and petrol, they do not get dissolved. This is all from my side. Thank you. Have a nice day.